Everything looks good. Give me 1 second. Alright. So, I want to finish off a little bit of what I'm working on here, and then we might hop into Maya and do some modeling on that. And I forgot to open up my Pure. Always something I forget. There we go. Alright. So... grab these and pull them over. Still trying to figure out what exactly I want to do with this area, but... Connect that. Hey, Quixana. And Chaz. How are you two doing? Oh, thanks for the prime, Quixana. I appreciate it. That's very kind. Oops. I am doing... I'm doing alright. My allergies have been bugging the crap out of me. But other than that, I can't complain. Horrible herniated a disc in my neck, but I'm here. Oh man, that sucks. You got it worse than I do, that's for sure. That I am not envious of that. I hope you get that resolved quickly. Rough spring allergies. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's like the cold that I had last weekend trying to like have a resurgence, or if it's my allergies, or like a mild combination of the both, but I'm leaning towards allergies because I went for on a hike yesterday and I forgot to take my allergy meds beforehand. So it's probably the allergies, but who knows. But I definitely have spring and fall allergies. Yeah, back stuff is the worst. I did something to my back in like 2015, 16. My friend who I was dating at the time was moving out of her house, and I tried to lift some ridiculously heavy, like, wooden trunk, and my back has not been the same since then. Not quite sure what I did to it, but whatever I did was not fun. And occasionally it will just like flare back up on me. I remember it had to have been like 2018, 2019. I went and like I was cleaning and I knocked over a broom and I went quickly to grab it and it was like someone just stabbed me in the back. So definitely get that looked at. So if you don't, you may end up like me. LOL Winston Bigglesworth. Welcome to chat. Hey Penis, Sfrock the Ranger, here. On my phones. Oh, okay. Nice. That sucks. Yeah, it seems like a lot of people are having really bad allergies this season. I don't know why. But that seems to be a consistent thing from everybody I've been talking to. Of all the things to cause it, I was just overstretched. It's always the weird little things that like really mess you up. Like my knee, when I seriously messed my knee up, I was just walking upstairs. All the stupid stuff I used to do in high school when I skateboarded and stuff like that, you'd think that would have been the thing that really jacked my knee up, but no, it was walking upstairs. That sounds about right. Is this an outdoor dungeon? Or what kind of vibe is... So, for anybody who hasn't seen, yeah, this is Tel Ekir. And thank you for the follow. So, here, let me run around real quick. It's still pretty rough. This entrance area is more refined. Let's hop into game. Enjoyed all the avatars during the stress test. Yeah, I had a whole, like, hotbar setup of GM commands to do different illusions. Okay, so I'm gonna fly over to the beginning of the zone. So around here is where you'd zone in. And let me bring up... so, you know, this area is going to kind of lean into this type of feel with canyons. Eventually, when I do a post-processing pass on this area, I want to have a little bit darker not super dark, but just dimmer. So less ambient light and stuff like that. And as you get up high to the higher areas, that'll resolve itself and brighten up. So this first part, you're going to see a lot of this type of stuff. This will get carried into the other areas that I'm kind of starting to do this stuff with, just the lower part. But since it's really rough, I haven't locked in where I want everything, so I'm not going to do all this. Like, bringing it to this level becomes a, becomes an issue when you eventually get to, if you have to, like, move stuff around, the more stuff you have to move around, the just more difficult it ends up being. So yeah, the first part's very, caverny. Eventually, I haven't touched this area yet, but there's going to be this kind of ancient city that's built into the cliffs that's going to be very inspired by the Turkish kind of cave cities, the ancient cave cities. You'll see a entrance in a second that's been inspired by this structure. But yeah, so you'll have a lot of this type of stuff, a lot of ravines, and then that city is actually going to be built kind of like an anthill, so it'll be kind of honeycombed and kind of sprawl out a little bit, but a lot of verticality going down, and you're going to see various different types of mobs and stuff like that. So this first area will eventually hook up to Shaded Dunes, and this there's going to be some like scout camps for Ashira. I may open this spot up a little bit more, but eventually these will have some tents. Same with up here, which you can reach by going in through these caves. The caves will be darker eventually as well. Let me give us some light. So there's this kind of underwater area. Which will be expanded upon later. And then this area kind of opens up. And then there'll be more kind of like Ashira scout camps type of thing. And then, yeah, you got this ancient ruin here that actually has a camp in it. So, like, we can have some mobs running around in here. And then there's a pass through here. So this area will eventually get to another zone line. So this will take you, eventually will take you into Sungreat Strand, which is currently Night Harbor, not Night Harbor, Night Harbor Fields. And then this cave will lead towards the Ashira. So this will eventually be that will be this kind of town feel. And then this is going to be this very large kind of mountain that's kind of dome, not a dome, but it's kind of like a bowl shape. And it will have kind of more of a forest biome in it, kind of a magical place. And then there's going to be a big waterfall kind of coming down into this area. I think the scale of it's going to be larger. I just kind of threw that in just to have a visualization of where it would be. So this will eventually probably be fairly different in terms of scale and size. I have not really touched this area yet. And then this area that I'm working on right now, this is going to look more like a broken kind of land bridge, like that had once kind of had an arch over here. Right now it's just kind of really quickly blocked off. And you'd have to go through this area, which is super rough. Actually, you can't even jump up here yet because I haven't actually... Oh, I guess you can if you're speed hacking. But this area needs to be cleaned up way more. It's just super rough getting the flow. But eventually this will get you over there, you won't be able to make that jump. And yeah, this is based off of this concept here, which Goblin had referred to as the Ashira Shaman Hut. So I've just been calling it the Chamois Shack. And I kind of took this idea and kind of expanded. So, kind of in the middle of working on it right now. But, kind of playing around with these kind of tiered ledges with waterfalls kind of going through. That water area that's going to be over here. I want... Oops. Helps if I use the correct mouse button. But since we're maybe playing with the idea of this magical water that kind of flows upwards, I was thinking one of these could flow over here and will kind of make a pool, and this shape is not refined. This will look entirely different when it's done. Anyways, there's going to be an entrance into this area, and then like maybe the shamans could, you know, come and worship the water or whatever they do, and kind of carrying into that water that kind of defies gravity flows up out of these areas and then kind of flows down through all these little, you know, like ravines and crevices and stuff like that. So eventually this will end in a lake or a little pool or pond or something like that down here, and you will kind of drop down, and then you can, you know, fight your way up. And you have all these little ledges and stuff to place mobs and pull from, or go up to the upper area. So I'm just kind of trying to link all these things up a little bit, and then I need to blend this area into the current walls. So I've just been kind of playing with the overall, you know, shape and flow, and trying to get the scale large enough that it makes sense to have a mob, you know, camp, or a mob like actually placed in a spot, and make sure it's nice and, you know, feels kind of cozy but has enough room to have stuff. And then this, like I said, this area needs to expand over here and drop down. I think I kind of want to play with the way to get out won't be through here. Maybe I guess it might be. I don't know. I might do an underwater passage type of a thing too. We'll have to see. But that's kind of what I'm going with right now. And then that city itself, when you get down further, like I said, you're going to run into some other races and factions and stuff as you get deeper. So there's gonna be a bunch of different feels, and it'll be more like a sprawling kind of caverns type of a feel down below. But that'll probably be the last area that I get to, and that's probably gonna be to be honest, it'll be probably the faster area to do, just because there's a lot less to kind of worry about when it's all interior. Sorry, I'm way behind on chat. Hi, Gnome Fights. It was funny seeing you watch over, or see you watch over as the huge fire elemental. Yeah, that was the one I eventually just kind of left it with, because I'm like, everybody can see that there's a developer and a GM here, because I'm a giant fire elemental. And then eventually I just got tired of hitting the grow button, so I just left it to the bright fire being. Yeah, so this is kind of an Ashira themed area for the most part, but like I said, there's gonna be some other factions and stuff in there. Saw Goblin stream talking about the concept images with the water and the boss fight idea. Really like that. Awesome. Reminds me a little of Blackborough. May potentially be some Blackborough inspiration to the zone, to some degree. And along with a couple others, to be honest, if I'm going to be honest. That's super cool to see how it's all coming together. Nice. Do you know what the level range is? I'm not 100% sure because we haven't started populating it yet. The idea going into it, and again, all completely subject to change, is that it would be kind of like a progression from Wormsbane. So I'm guessing the entrance stuff might be high teens, low 20s, somewhere around there, and then progress up. But how high? I know there is going to be a high level area to it, like a level capped area almost. But for the most part, it's like a early an early 20s to maybe 35 range, but again, I'm not 100% sure on that, so don't hold me to it. Hey Cinder, how's it going? We got murdered in the pit in Wormsbane. Can't wait to get back there and get some revenge. Nice. Yeah, that pit turned out to be pretty deadly. Deadlier than I expected it to be. At one point, I was gonna make it even like harsher, but I'm kind of glad I didn't go that route because, like I said, it seems to be plenty deadly enough at its current iteration, which is awesome. Let's see. You'd be proud to know I was ranger tanking? Nice. Definitely. I've done some ranger tanking in my days. Also done some ranger healing and slowing. And one of my favorite like group memories was in Omens of War. Me and a bunch of my ranger friends on Praxis. I don't even remember how we ended up we decided to do it, but we ended up doing an all ranger group in Proving Grounds. And granted, we all had like, you know, Time, Quivik, and Anguish gear. Some of us might have had some Takfi gear at that point. I honestly don't remember. But we definitely had some Quivik and Time and stuff like that. But we did the all ranger group, and we were rotating who was playing healer and who was tanking, and we'd pull, and then everyone would swap over to Earthcaller until we got a proc off, and it was a lot of fun. Speaking of ranger healing, I'm in the Buried Sea expansion now and consistently in top 5 heal pars. As a ranger? That's awesome. happen here? Let's delete these. On Thornblade? Thornblade's got pretty far. I started out on Thornblade. So sad that I didn't catch up, because me, my brother, and my son started, I think, in Valius, and we were having a blast. But it was also around the time that I started working on this project. But I kind of wish I'd caught up, because man, that server was so much fun, and I was really, really hoping that they were gonna do another one. This TLP, but that did not happen. So, if they ever do that again, I am definitely... that rule set, I will definitely be playing. Play Dark Age of Camelot with a group of rangers. We were all auto-training bow, so we had a guild called the Mighty Power Rangers. All of us had different armored dye colors. That's great. My okay, it wasn't the first guild I was in EverQuest. That was, I forgot what the heck was that called. It was a family guild that I was in for like 5 levels. I think it was like Honor Overall or something like that. But the first guild that I actually like got to know people in was the Rangers of Tunar, and it was mostly Rangers. There was a couple, I think, Druids and stuff like that. But it was basically a bunch of newbie Rangers with like a couple guys who had been playing for a while, but weren't really into the raiding scene or anything like that. And they kind of gave us like the basics, and then at least the ones that were in there when I was in there, most of us, when we got around epic level, we all left and went to other guilds that were, you know, more capable of doing epics and all that kind of stuff. But that was a fun guild. The Ranger heals OP. It heals target of mob, so I can cast. Yeah. I forgot what the heck is it called. I can't remember what the line's called, but I know exactly what you're talking about because I was playing on live and they still have that ability. Or obviously a you know, more advanced version of that ability. If you ever want a PL, I can catch you up in a day. It's tempting. That's tempting. Although I really would like. I really wish I had been able to like go through and do Thornblade as a or like through the like Planes of Power, like Luglin, or actually through Valius rating through like Omens rating. That would have been the spot that I would have probably had the most fun. Yeah, I think Classic to POP. took a break from GOD to GSS. Man, I haven't raided, like, legit raided Gates Discord in forever. Like, I was super into the idea of Agnar, and then we got to time, and I was like, oh, damn it, we're stuck. Like, this is it. Because I started, really wanting to do some Gates of Discord raiding. Let's turn off this potion, because I'm going to start snapping stuff, and it's going to start annoying me. But yeah, man, the last time I did, like, actually raided Gates had to have been like 2006, 2005. I did a bunch of, the progression. I got all the way up to Texuv on the PQ emulated server. I was running a 30 box. But I took a break for a while, came back, and my biggest gripe with that server is as they get, like, as the people that are building the server get higher and higher up, they just keep increasing the difficulty, so it makes it so much harder for lower level people to, like, do anything. Because the population isn't large on the server. But yeah, I think it was during COVID. I was like, oh yeah, I'll hop into that, and maybe I'll finish getting the last group time flagged, and I can finally, like, solo the rest of the gods in time, because I just didn't have two warriors. I only had my one warrior, and I needed two to get past the Zek brothers. If I remember correctly. I think it was Valen. The strategy on it was just to tank both the real and the twin. But there was a bug that had been in the server forever where, like, the evasive discipline was, like, stupid overpowered. And they completely fixed it. And I was like, oh, sweet, now my my healers can't keep my tank up like it could before. Because I went to do Fennin, who I'd soloed, like, a ton of times, and he just ripped my face off. And I was like, oh, god damn it. And then I just totally killed my my desire to keep playing. But I had gone in with that initial plan that I was gonna get my times, fill out a couple pieces of time, and try to get someone to help me get my TACV flag finished. Because there's no way I was fucking gonna be able to solo that fight. Zamorim, or whatever his name is. That fight is something else. Hey Patrick, how's it going? It wasn't your favorite? When I first was doing Gates, I was not a fan, but I have over the years learned to appreciate Gates way more than I did. The funny thing is, like, though, I don't have as many, like, good memories in... And by good, I mean, like, solid memories of doing, like, TACV. I feel like I, like, buried the trauma of going through that, like, deep in the recesses of my mind or something like that, because I legit barely remember anything from that zone. I remember fighting Turret and winning. I can't tell you what the strategy was. I can barely remember the fight. But I need to, at some point, go through that again. I think Kunark and Lukelin are some of my favorite memories in EQ. I have a lot of good memories in Plains of Power. Omens was also a lot of fun for me too, and I really enjoy raiding in Valius and Lukelin as well. The only thing about Lukelin that I did not like is the damn shards to the Shishar Temple, or however you pronounce it. I'm just glad that they made them, like, easier to get on TLPs, because God, that would have been just awful. Absolutely awful if those were not like sped up. Because, man, farming those back in the day was brutal. TAKP is awesome. I've been meaning to play that or download it. I just haven't. Like, part of me is, like, tempted to jump into the new TLP. And then part of me is like, I don't know. I got all sorts of just randomness going on in here. Let's clean this up. Whoa, what the hell? I must have had a face selected that I didn't realize. I haven't played Omens in Era, unfortunately. It was a lot of fun. A lot of epic quests if you're in a raiding guild. Because everyone's doing their 1.5s and then their 2.0s and potentially, you know, their pre-quests if they didn't actually get their 1.0s. So there's a lot of just kind of interesting, fun fights. And the groupable gear was getting pretty good at that point too, because I think like Named and Wall of Slaughter were dropping like essentially Lukelin quality raid gear, and then MPG and Rift Seekers was like Elemental Planes quality gear, something like that. So, I mean, back in the day when I wasn't like always 100% like bleeding edge gear wise, it was great for filling out a couple of my weaker slots, I remember. Vexal. Yeah, Vexal is what did I say? I totally meant the Vexal key. Oh, I said the Shishar Temple, didn't I? Well, part of that is actually, I mean, there is a key element in there, because you have to get the commanders and whatever and make the ring so you can go fight the Emperor for whatever piece. I can't even remember. It's been a while since I've done it. And you had to do the whole Bane weapon ore farm as well. But yeah, I totally meant Vexlaw as for the location that you're getting keyed. The level cap in Finiki server is increasing. Me and my buddy started some characters there casually for fun. There's rewards for killing certain targets before certain levels. Yeah, I hopped on to Finiki when it started last year. Got to the level cap in like, which was 40 at the time. I got to there in like, I don't know, 2 days, something like that. And then ended up joining a raiding guild that said it was casual, and then I realized that it was casual. It was a bunch of like faceless people that were, you know, they were basically there to get like the rewards and stuff like that. And I was like, oh wow, I'm in the wrong guild. They're going way too fast for me. But we were able to like, I got the CT achievement, and then we were able to kill all of Kale at level 40, which was just absurd. It was a lot of dying. It was a lot of dying. And then we did growth as well, I think. I can't remember if we actually killed Tunar or not. But casual guild, that's how they get you. Well, most of the ones I get, I've gotten into have been like casual, like legit casual. When I realized that I was in a guild with people that normally run around in faceless, I was like, oh yeah, this is not really casual. And I could not keep pace with how fast they were doing stuff. I was like, yeah, all right, guys, this has been fun, but I'm just gonna not continue to play. Yeah, I bet. Or I would assume Mischief would have been pretty decent for casual play or casual rating as well. I just hope at some point they do another version. And I get why they don't want to do another version right now, because they don't want to kill the population on both Mischief and Thornblade, since they're doing well. Thornblade's pretty small. Hey, Adichie. There's still a few top guilds in Thornblade, but none of them would say they're hardcore. Yep, working on the new dungeon. Working on a small section of it anyways. This area is probably the one that'll have the most stuff going on in it, but... If they merged Mischief and Thornblade, I'm sure they could do it in one. Yeah, I would imagine that's kind of what they would eventually end up doing. Especially if they decided to roll another one. But I definitely would love to see them roll another one. Because again, like, I started too late to really get... One, it was just bad timing with me getting on the project, but... I mean, me getting on the project was good timing, but... For me playing on Thornblade. But... I'd want to start fresh and kind of go through everything. Looks pretty cool already. Well, thank you. As my voice cracks. Yeah, already seems like a fun layout. Can't wait to die in there. I'm sure there will be plenty of death. I haven't even put any traps in here yet. But yeah, I got the cavern areas. Kind of got this water area, this area, and then, you know, the town area, and then the dungeons beneath it. But I think it'll be a fun dungeon especially once it's all flushed out. Oh, you know, I know why it's doing that. There we go. Ah. When it does that. Come on. There we go. Sometimes it just doesn't want a bridge. You have to kind of reselect. What's the vibe in the dungeon? Fire, ice, granite. So it is kind of thematically based off of the, I can't remember the name of the civilization is. But it's these kind of rocky cliffs that have buildings and stuff carved into them in Turkey. So this is obviously more of like a modern, updated version of them, but so kind of leaning into this type of stuff, especially in the city area, and then also some like just kind of cavernous ravines, and then there's going to be some kind of more greenery, so a little bit of a biome shift as you get towards the top of this mountain. And then as you dive deeper in, like as you get into the city area and start going down, it's going to become more of like a layered dungeon with multiple, like races in there and stuff to discover. But it's an old abandoned, well, it was abandoned and then has been kind of re-inhabited by other races. But that's kind of the theme behind it. Connect? There we go. I think earthy water, and share population in the city, based on what was shown. Yep, that's the main idea behind it, and then, like I said, there's gonna be some other things going on that you'll discover as you adventure through it. Also, I just kind of gave some of it away with some of the concepts, but I'm not gonna go into the backstory per se. I'd play M&M over a TLP any day. Awesome. Yeah, it'll be exciting once we're finished with the proof of concept and have a decent amount of content and stuff in here. I'm only playing Thornblade to keep my mind and skills sharp for my return to Wormsbane. Oh yeah, 100%. Field EQ. Hippitus. Did you see the new textures Goblin did for this? Pretty cool. Yeah, we were talking about it just before the stream, actually. Yes, that's it. Cappadocia. Cappadocian. But yeah, it's the Cappadocian stuff is in Turkey, like the ruins and stuff like that. Pure Ref? Oh yeah, definitely. Pure Ref's awesome. For anybody who does like reference gathering and stuff like that, awesome, real easy to use piece of software. Super cool. Hail and well met. Welcome to the chat, Grix. Excuse me. I apologize for my voice being a little strained and coughing and sniffling and stuff like that. Like I said, I think I'm battling both the cold I had last weekend and my allergies. Although I think it might be more my allergies because I did go on a hike yesterday. Oh, actually, hold on a second. So I got super excited on my walk. And then I got super disappointed because I found this morel mushroom, which is the largest one I've ever seen in the wild. Except it is clearly very dead. And there was mold all over the bottom of it. And it was full of ants. Like, you can't see it in the picture, but there's a ton of ants inside of it. But like, I saw this sticking out of the ivy and I was like, oh my god, and I started running over, and then like I got within 5 feet of it and I was like, oh, it's dead. And I popped it off the ground and looked at it, and it was just like bugs crawling around it inside. I was like, oh, Mother Nature, you tease. But now I'm suffering from that beyond the letdown. My allergies are definitely kicked into high gear today. Out of curiosity, yeah, sweet. Oh, so sweet. I'll have to get pure thing. Oh yeah, definitely. If you've never tried it before, it's a donation one when you download it. So if you don't have anything to donate, you can download it for free. But Pure F's awesome. It's a great way to just kind of set up your own mood board. Out of curiosity, on the tech side, do you have to worry about polygon count of the landscape? Or can you go crazy? So, I can get kind of crazy with it just because of the because of the style we're going for is low poly. Like, we're not set to a hard limit, like, you know, if we were building, we'll say Classic EverQuest, where they might have a little bit more technical limitations. That isn't necessarily the problem. It's just how much can be fit within the aesthetic. So, you know, even though we're going for a style that harkens back to, you know, Classic EQ at a point, so you have, you know, these kind of polygonal areas and stuff like that kind of call back, kind of, you know, again, get the member berries going. The actual, you know, terrain and geo is actually higher poly than, like if you went back and looked at like High Pass or something like that, it would just be straight edges. Like the cliffs would just be going straight up. So there's a lot more going on, but it's done in a way, like, as I'm going through, I'm doing it in a way that, like, harkens back, so it still kind of puts you into that, like, hey, this reminds me of moment, even though it's more modern. So, very, you know, very much thinking about that as I go, in terms of, like, where do I use more polys to make things play with the light and stuff like that, and where do I kind of go with the more classic style. So I was just in High Pass a couple hours ago. Definitely more detailed, but still classically chunky. Yep, exactly. That's exactly what I'm going for. So yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily a technical limitation. There is some technical limitation though. So the zones that we aren't using the terrain, which we are actually starting to use Unity terrain for the outdoor zones, beyond like this zone, it didn't make sense to do it because of how I'm trying to go about it, and because it's so like there's a lot of channels and ravines and stuff, and I wanted the terrain to follow like the edges of the walls and stuff like that. So doing it with a terrain didn't make sense because the polygons and stuff just wouldn't match, like where the vertexes are. So we're not doing that here. Simon's actually working in Sungreet Strand, which is again currently named Night Harbor Fields. And those two zones will link up at this point. Although this may get moved further east, depending on how we do it. But so for larger outdoor zones, eventually I'm going to be going after this. I'll probably hop into Shaded Dunes and replace a lot of the old Geo and Shaded Dunes with updated Geo. But one, it's more optimized, and two, like if I go into Shaded Dunes right now, even on my workstation, which is a fairly beastie machine, like if I were to go in here and start to try to move stuff in here, you can just visually see there's lag. And like I said, my workstation is pretty pretty beefy. I mean, just me letting go, it has to like update. So there is a limitation. From what I can tell, probably once you start getting over like 6,000 polys, it starts to break down. It hasn't done it here, but if you go back a while ago, probably the end of last summer, and watch one of my VODs, there's a couple times where I'm like doing stuff on the Night Harbor train, and it starts punching like I'll save, it looks good. I go into the game and it just looks like Swiss cheese. Like it just Pro Builder breaks down. So one, it's just like manipulating something at a certain point. It just takes forever, way longer than it should. Where if we replace it with Unity Terrain, I can get it to be about the same resolution in terms of mesh, and I can just paint, and it works. We lose the ability to push the vertices horizontally, but we can kind of make up for that with adding in bits of Pro Builder terrain, or not terrain, but like bits of Pro Builder meshes where we need them. But yeah, between that and at a certain point, certain amount of manipulation, and Pro Builder just it starts just shredding the mesh. So some of the larger zones, we're going to be doing some different stuff. So yes, there are some technical limitations if you're using Pro Builder, but in reality, no. Because we're also have been using Pro Builder in a way it wasn't really designed to be used. But again, it's because we're going for a very specific, like, aesthetic callback. In a more modern way, but just purely relying on modern modern stuff makes it, I guess, a little bit harder to hit that. Not that it's impossible to hit it with modern stuff, but Pro Builder has a certain clunkiness to it that I actually find makes it a little bit easier to hit the aesthetic. Do I go foraging often? Mostly in the spring. when morels are out in this area. Although I keep saying that I'm going to go out in the fall and look for some chicken of the woods, but I never end up doing it. So maybe this year I will actually get out there and try to find some chicken of the woods. Should really just make these all this one color, because I threw the green down. I'm like, oh, this will look cool with like grass in these areas, but I keep like changing the stuff up so much. I'm like, well, I just need to leave these as rock colored until I actually finalize the geo. Exactly what I thought I did. There we go. Let's collapse those. There we go. Just try to make it so you can't like climb up and go around. I have to go this way. Did that. Just here to show support for you and the game, dude. Take my energy. Oh, thanks for excuse me, I didn't mean to cough. Thanks for the first time chat. Timid to the limit. Timid to the limit. I think I actually got that one right. Glad you're here. Will there be climbing in M&M? No. Not the way you're thinking of climbing, anyways. We do have the ability with the mud objects to do a climbing of sorts, but you won't be like, you know, like Assassin's Creed style scaling stuff. That won't be a thing. Anybody else was TD about the 9 Discord messages? That's what I get for having Discord open when I'm streaming. No, thankfully I can live with that. I'm happy to watch Pates make cool stuff in Pro Builder. Well, I kind of, or, well, I have a kind of awestruck face. Notice that too. I'm sure if you go back and look at a lot of my videos, you probably can actually watch it count up at times. My only real issue is the darn TV switches off every few minutes. Oh, that stinks. Alright. I may have to play around with this area at some point in the future, but I kind of want to just get this blocked in before I really start stressing over individual little spots. Alright. Let's take a run around real quick. Set. Yes, I'm still listening. So I've actually put in a value for that. And we'll fly since we can't get up here yet. And let's turn off my super run speed. So that's... I don't think I changed anything here. This will eventually be swimming, but I'll have to kind of also play around with the bottom of it a little bit more. I think I need to fix... I need to do something else with this little spot that looks kind of funky. I may also need to adjust the height of this slightly. Thinking about small races being able to get up there. Maybe drop this down slightly. Oh, shoot. That's what I get for doing stuff while streaming and talking. I forgot to angle this so you can actually get up on top of it. Whoops. That'll need to get fixed, that little light bleed. Hey, Rishitari, how's it going? I might do a little cave through this area. And this is too long, I think. So we might bring that in a bit. But I might leave that, because like I said, I want this to feel like this was a... Well, that'll eventually be moved, but like there was once a bridge that kind of went across here, like a natural bridge. So maybe this will end up having to get moved. And then it collapsed and that's why you can't just easily walk into this area. And it also is what's going to have caused... Whoops, did I just kill myself? No, I did not. It's going to also, like, cause this water to dam up in here, as opposed to just kind of flowing out the ravine. There's a browser extension called YouTube Nonstop that will disable the "Are you still watching" thing. Good to know. Let me write that down. What did I do with my notepad? Oh, it's right here. Put a piece of mail on top of it. YouTube non-stop. I will have to look at that extension. Why did... I think I forgot to turn looping on that time. There we go. Go in and disable ramps for midgets. I need to clean up the geo in here too. And if I am doing... So I'll need to figure out this area, but I think I want to have like a little ledge on the inside here and a little cave that kind of goes through down below. I'll have to clean this up just a little bit so that if someone does fall down like I just did, it works a little bit better. But yeah, have a little ledge here. There'll be a stream coming down through here, and then under the water there's gonna be... Oh, killed myself. There'll be a little like tunnel that goes up into there. It's gonna take a minute to load. And then we'll go on a corpse run. Alright. Good shit. There we go. Man, Zukin and Patrick got the guards looking snazzy. Alright. Zone Tel Ekir. Actually, one other thing I can show you guys. Some of you may have seen it on Sean's stream. but I was working on the lighting at the entrance to Wormsbane the other day. We had been, I can't even remember what we were talking. We were in a huddle Monday night, I think, and we talked about we're talking about Unity and Unreal. So I got sidetracked and decided to export out a small section of the game and throw it into Unreal 5 and light it in there just to see the difference in the lighting. And let me see if I can get you guys an image. Where the hell did I put this? Isn't it in art? I swore I put it in art. Ah, here it is. Hold on. I thought I have a refined version though. Oh no, hold on a second. I'm looking at the older one. Maybe not? Did I put this in environment again? Hold on a second. Sorry, guys. It's in here somewhere. Or maybe not. Okay. I don't remember where I put it. Anyways. It's gotta be here somewhere. Okay, I found it. So, open these up in other windows so I'm not showing anything else that I shouldn't be. Ah! So yeah, this was what we had in Unity, and this was a real quick one I threw together in Unreal 5. So you can see the difference. So I took this image and kind of faked it in Unreal or in Unity. Barber. And like I talked about on my stream on Monday. So I must have done this on Tuesday. My stream on Monday. I wanted to start looking at like how to get the post-processing volumes and stuff working in Unity, which isn't really hard. I just had to find the documentation for the stuff we were using. Of course, it's gonna be raining. So let me run over here. And I forget the command to stop the rain. It had to do it right now. What's that, 7 a.m.? Nope. I always forget the space. So, one of the problems we've had, and it's just because we haven't had post-processing set up, and I've only done it in this one spot. We need to do it through the whole city, and set up probably different volumes throughout the city. But you gonna go Rain? Nope, apparently not. I forget the weather command. Anyways, we have indirect lighting from our sun and the moons that lights the interiors. So I set it up so that as you walk in here, and it might look weird with the rain because I actually haven't tested it with the rain. It's actually going to transition, so you can see it's getting darker. So it actually now feels like you're going in a cave, and as you go back out, it starts to brighten up a little bit as you get closer to that sunlight. Even though there's rain going on right now. So got that set up, which gave me a lot more control over what the lighting in there looks like. Because essentially I can turn, the sun doesn't affect it. There's a little bit more fog in here right now just because of the rain. But I did leave a little bit of fog in here. And you see the rain falling through here. It's a known bug. We have to fix it. But the rain itself, the particle system needs to spawn up higher because it's actually spawning below the collision. So it doesn't see the roof. But yeah, so I was able to kind of fake the Unreal 5 lighting. We still need to fix the shadows because I can't soften the shadows on the teeth. They're super jagged. So Ali said he thinks he knows how to fix that. So but I was able to kind of fake the global illumination, so there's more bounce light from the sand hitting the bottoms of these, and some environment or some volumetric lighting in here. So definitely a little more atmospheric. Nice atmosphere. Nice. Yeah, exactly. It definitely has a little bit more of the feel. And of course I closed those out like an idiot. So yeah, here's what it looked like in Unity before, and here's what it looks like now. So you can see like the fake bounce, just nothing going on down there, and now you've got some fake bounce lighting off the bottom, which really helps it fill out. And this area looks a little bit nicer now too. And then you get a nice transition when you leave it. Although I need to dial back the ambient occlusion because there's a little bit too much going on there. Oh, I gotta fix those too. I keep forgetting about that. But yeah, so you know, eventually I'll have to go through and do that to all the interior stuff, but not that exact lighting scenario, but like get a lighting scenario that works better for inside buildings, and get that set up. But I also kind of want to take that type of stuff into here as well. So like this area down here will be a little bit more dimly lit, and then if you know, get up to the higher air elevation, it will essentially taper off as you move up. Even better. This area looks sweet. Nice. Thank you. So, eventually, you know, that it was more of just kind of a making sure I knew how the system. I know how to do that stuff in Unreal. I just, again, Unity is not my engine that I'm in. Like I know intimately, like I do with Unreal. Okay, so what was I gonna come over here and fix? I need to fly back over here. There was something I literally was just, oh, I need to fix that, and I didn't. Oh, I know exactly what it was. Okay. What was this? Just gonna snap these for now too. Even though I'll probably move this stuff, I'm just gonna close that little light flicker. Okay. Good. Let's make this a little bit of a ledge in case someone up here falls down. Oh, shoot, hold on. Do it the opposite way. I was starting to overlap down there. So let's do a little bit. I think I can do a little bit of both. Let's do. Nope. There we go. Something a little more like that. Oh wow. I was sitting here, I just looked up at the music video, or like the slideshow that Robert has going, and hold on. I pause it, but just the old, like where Worm's Bane was originally placed, like how much it's evolved since then. Yeah, we'll do that. That into one piece. I'm just kind of lining these up just enough. Don't forget the cat room. This one's currently set up as a dog room. And this actually is way... I haven't actually positioned this one. So this one's like way, way out. Over there, where it doesn't need to be, but... Yeah, we have a whole set of team member pets and deceased pets that are used currently. Probably need some more, but more images at some point. This is why I love you. I had to get the important stuff, you know, make sure that's in there. Can't forget to have the cat room. See, I'm hoping somebody on the team has some sort of like crazy exotic pet, like a Komodo dragon or something. Obviously nobody has a Komodo dragon on the team, but it would be cool to have a really bizarre pet in one of the rooms. But it's in the cat room is in the template. At one point we were actually using the cat rooms when we were using A-Star, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was A-Star. We were playing around with a pathing system in Unity, and it required you to have like a nav mesh like component on an object, and the cat rooms were actually the object that had it for a while. But we went back to Unity's system. Oops, hold on. Okay. Oh, that was me being dumb. What was your favorite EQ zone and why? Are you talking about in general, D, or are you talking about like specifically classic? Or are we talking like favorite group zone versus favorite raid zone? Because I could give you a bunch of different answers. Classic, then outside of that. Alright, so classic, my favorite classic zone, I'm gonna say is probably Lower Guck. It's the one I always love. I could go run around Lower Guck forever and probably still have fun. I have always loved that zone. I think part of it was because my friends that were playing EQ before I was playing EQ, like, talked it up to some degree, but I also did a bunch of leveling and stuff there, and I loved it. Another one would probably be City of Mist. Loved that zone. Me and my friend farmed the hell out of that zone when I finally got into a level range that we could group there, that, like, I could group there and not die. And that was probably, like, one of the spots where I made probably the first, like, time I ever had 10K in plat was probably from selling stuff from that zone. It was also the zone I used to power level low characters on my ranger. That lower gug was terrible for me. It still terrifies me though. I have several level 60s on P99. Yeah, it's terrifying, and I don't know. There's something about it. Like, I go in there and I pull on TLPs or whatever, and I'm just like, God damn it, every time, because the freaking ghoul root is the bane of my existence as a ranger. Like, as I'm pulling, I die in there so much from getting ghoul rooted, like going to pull unaimed or something like that. But I love that zone. There's so many little like twists and turns and stuff like that. And then there's a whole bunch of other classic ones I love. Mistmore's fun. What else? I enjoy Sebalus, but Sebalus is kind of like that for me. Like, I haven't done all of Sebalus, and it was always that like mysteriously just large dungeon. And I remember going in there with my friends for the first time, and like just how terrifying that zone was. And it still has a little bit of that mystery to me, just because I don't go there a ton. Like, I know it well enough, but it definitely still has a little bit of that, like, fear factor. Because I can't run through it like the back of my hand, like I can with the undead side of Lower Guck. Live side of Lower Guck I don't know as well, but I didn't like killing the live Frylocks. I always felt bad. But after that, man, probably my favorite zones outside of Classic are probably, for grouping, Plane of Fire, Solro Tower, Basilions of Thunder, MPG was fun. Rift Seekers could be fun, but I also sometimes found it boring. I don't know why. I think it just depended on the group. Kedge is the wild zone. How did I learn to do Pro Builder? I just taught myself. But granted, I had learned how to do 3D modeling before I learned Pro Builder. I went to school for excuse me, I'm fighting hiccups. I went to school and majored basically in digital art, with an emphasis in game design. Or focus in game design. But that was... I also went to school before there was really any game design specific majors. Nowadays, they're all over the place. Excuse me. Yeah, so I learned Maya, and honestly, once you kind of get the general ideas behind what you're doing with 3D modeling, and the basic concepts behind it, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it does matter to a degree. Some programs will just work better with whatever workflow you're doing, but for the most part, once you kind of understand the general theory about like what you're doing and how the tools work, it's really just learning where the tools are, what the names are, or like what the equivalent of something is from one to the other. Because most of it is essentially the same. It's just learning the hotkeys and all of that, and becoming more and more efficient. This may be unpopular, but I really like Ocean of Tears. I rarely grouped there. I'm trying to think the last time I did any actual XPing in Ocean of Tears. I think it was on Ragefire, the TLP, when it came out. I think I got to level 50 in Ocean of Tears. I just vaguely remember being at a camp, seeing a name pop, and being like, oh, sweet, this name pop, maybe we can kill it. And then watching a mage bot army roll up and just obliterate it. So there's like probably 2 groups of mages, and I was just like, yep, guess I'm not doing that. But the mage box army and SK thing was kind of what made me eventually stop playing that server. That, and I always start at TLP. I max myself out super quick, get all like my fear gear, and then end up like taking a break because I get just burned out. There's only so much to do in Classic. And then not having like AAs or anything like that to kind of keep you going. I'm not big at like doing alts on my own, on the same account as my main. If I'm doing alts, it's usually like I have a box or something like that. Happy Friday, Sparrow. Oh, God, my nose is all itchy. People probably don't think people don't think like it cause they spend countless hours farming there. Never too late to learn. Oh yeah, there's so many, like that's one of the great things about nowadays is you can get access to a lot of the stuff way cheaper than you used to be able to. Like for instance, when I was learning Unreal, the only way to get your hands on Unreal was like to mod Gears of War on PC or Unreal Tournament. Like a legit version of it that was not for modding was like $1 million license or something like that. Which, as a poor art student, I definitely did not have. Nor do I have it right now. $1 million to just throw down on a license. But yeah, there's so many tutorials and stuff out there now too. It's really just figuring out like what is like how to teach yourself stuff and how to learn where's the resources, like learning what is it that you need to know. Is a big thing. And honestly, a lot of the ways you can do that is just by like reading articles and stuff, and that talk about different processes and stuff like that. Because there's always like new things that are going on that you just might not know about. And just kind of figuring out, you know, what technique works best for what you're trying to do. But the more you expose yourself to, you know, tutorials and other people's thought processes, and you're breaking down how, like, one of the best ways I learned was just by looking at other models and stuff like that, and kind of reverse engineering things, looking at what's textured, what's actually modeled, and then, you know, really thinking about why was it done this way as opposed to that way, goes a long way to kind of figuring some of that stuff out. Let's see. Kind of gets boring after a while. Really repetitive. Are you talking about Ocean of Tears or tutorials? Sorry, I lost what we're talking about. I swear Sparrow follows me around on Twitch. Unity has a free license, right? Oh yeah, Unity does, Unreal does. Most of the major engines you can get free versions of. And if you're just learning and stuff like that, you know, you never have to worry about paying. Which is awesome. And then, like, you know, for 3D modeling, Blender's free. If you have a college email or like a school email, you can get a free license, a 3-year license? I think it's 3 years. A free 3-year license for Maya, if you wanted to learn Maya. Or 3D Math. Any Autodesk software, you can get a 3-year license for free if you have a student email. And what else can you do? Substance Painter, you can get a 1-year license if you have a student email and a student ID. So there's plenty of ways to kind of get your hands on some of the software for free to do some learning. Let's see. Hey, Pettis, did you know the elves in Azeroth are descended from trolls? I did not know that. But I also didn't play as much WoW as I did EverQuest or Lord of the Rings Online. Which apparently they're doing another... Amazon is doing a Lord of the Rings MMO now. Which will be interesting to see how that turns out. Looks like it's time to set up a domain. An email address. Schmo.edu. Grix is a spreader of lies, trolling with trolls. Yeah, honestly, I don't... My knowledge of WoW lore is not great, to be completely honest. And my knowledge of EverQuest lore is probably not as sharp as it used to be, if I'm gonna be honest as well. And some of the mechanics, man. I used to be able to spout off like exactly all the percentages and stuff trigger that various phases of boss battles and stuff would trigger ads or whatever. I doubt I remember most of it. Like I'll remember what the like happens during the fight. I probably could not accurately tell you when that phase transition is going to happen like I used to be able to. Definitely at that phase where things start to get cloudy. All right. Troll lore. Elves would never admit it. Alright, guys. So, getting towards the end of my stream here. I'm liking this part. I need to kind of extend what I did over here into this area. And then link this area up. So, hopefully by this weekend, I'll be out of this area. And then I'll be working on here. And if I can get this, I think this is going to be the most time-consuming spot, just trying to get the flow here. And then I'll probably work on the transition from here up into this area, and then we'll start diving down into the depths of Tel Ekir. Which I have if I had to bet, I'm going to guess that part will come together a little bit faster, because it's just going to be modeling interiors. I don't have to worry about as much exterior stuff. And then after that's all done, we'll kind of close up the rest of these cliffs like I have right here, so the light's not spilling through, and then it should be good for Nick or Sean or Luna or somebody to come in here and start to populate it. And then I'll probably slap some placeholder textures and stuff on there. Like that. Yeah. Alright, let's see. I caught up on chat. It's looking good. Starting to get Temple of Kazakh vibes from it. Very cool. Nice. Alright, guys. Thank you everybody for hanging out with me today. If you are new to the project and are not aware of what I am working on, we are making an indie MMORPG that is very influenced by the classic first generation of MMOs. So think late 90s, early 2000s, Ultima Online, EverQuest, Dark Age of Camelot, RuneScape, like that style, that era of MMOs. That link I dropped is to our website. Go on and check that out. There's all sorts of information in the updates, all sorts of images and pictures. You can kind of follow the evolution of the game. If you have any questions, feel free to hop into our Discord. All of the developers are in there. We're pretty good at answering, excuse me, answering any questions you guys have. Also, we have a mailing list if you'd like to stay up to date with what is going on with the game. Those 2 links are also good if you want to get in on any of our future tests. We do not have any like dates or anything set up, so if you are interested and not already in them, make sure to join those, because that's where you'll kind of get that information. These are the other members of the team that stream. We all stream our own kind of areas of the game. My streams primarily are level design and environment art based, but sometimes I'll do some shader work or maybe some post-processing work or something like that as well. So a little bit of tech art in there from time to time. And then, yeah, if you are wanting to get caught up on past VODs, we have a YouTube channel, which I just linked. All of our VODs go up there, so there's like 340-ish, 330-ish, somewhere around there. There's hundreds and hundreds of hours of game design VODs that you guys can get caught up on the project if you wanted to. If you are watching on YouTube, please remember to like and subscribe, comment below, click the bell, all that fun stuff. The more engagement we get with those metrics, the more likely it is that YouTube will help by pushing out M&M content to people that are interested in, you know, EverQuest and other classic MMOs. So we're always asked how can we help support this project. Right now, that is the best way that you can help support the project, is by helping engage with those metrics and helping spread, tell your friends about the game that you think you would enjoy it and that type of stuff. So word of mouth is the best way right now that you can help us. If you are also watching on YouTube and you'd like to participate in my live chats, there should be a link down below to my Twitch channel, Pay to Ranger. If you click on that and then follow the channel, you'll get a notification whenever I go live. There's also the ability to opt into streaming notifications in Discord, so when anybody on the team streams, you should get a notification in Discord. But other than that, guys, almost forgot. My stream times are Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to try to do the 3 streams a week, but if I, for whatever reason, end up needing to cancel one, I usually make note of notifications. I usually make a post in the general chat in the Discord. So beyond that, guys, that's it for me today. Thank you everybody for hanging out with me. Thank you so much to all of my subscribers. I have to add quick sign up to that, as I believe. Yes, I do. So you'll be on that list for next stream. Thank you guys, and I will catch you on Monday. Later.